Other interesting political news, you have the SAVE Act election integrity by Mike Johnson on social media going viral, to say the least. Now, comes directly from his ex-Twitter profile. It's a little bit lengthy. He does spell it out, but it's one of the most important things, and it is the most viral moment of his career, getting 54.4 million votes or views. They're going to need a lot more votes to win. Remember, Biden got over 80 million votes when he was running in 2020. The most, I mean, statistically speaking, well, improbable, but nevertheless, that's the most votes ever because he is more cosmetic. What is it? He's more compelling and charismatic than Biden. People were that inspired by him. I'm only partially jesting, of course. Now, Speaker Mike Johnson says, quote, "The SAFE Act will safeguard our elections by ensuring only American citizens vote in federal elections. Hear what the legislation does. Requires state election officials to ask citizenship before providing voter registration forms. Requires an individual to provide proof of citizenship in order to register to vote in federal elections. Allows state officials to accept a wide variety of documents that will make it easy for citizens to register to vote in federal elections. Provides states with access to federal agency database so they can remove non-citizens from voter rolls and confirm citizenship for individuals' lack of proof of citizenship. It will also direct DHS to determine whether to conduct removal proceedings if a non-citizen has been identified as having registered for a vote in federal elections. It will also require DHS to notify the state chief election official whenever an individual has been naturalized to ensure new citizens are able to exercise their right to vote. And each one of those, I mean, his top comment got 58,000 likes. Each one subsequently got 20, 19, 16, 15, 13,000 apiece in terms of the likes. And one would think this would not be controversial, and every American would agree, yeah, it makes sense. We only want Americans voting in the election. We only want citizens voting. However, then it'd be a lot harder for some people to win. So I'm not too surprised there are some contrarian comments. One of the first comments comes from Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, "If you would have said that you were doing, sorry, if you did what you said you were going to do, and we'd have a closed border and less need for a SAFE Act, 5,000 illegal aliens crossed the border today so far because your lack of spine." Getting 12,000 likes, which, I mean, even if they fix the border today, there is still an estimated between 8 and, what is it, 8 and 13 million illegals crossed in the past 40 months. So again, that is part of the equation to fix that problem. However, that's not the whole antidote. We do have this alleged human. I say that because who would use that as a profile name? And of course, his profile name, interestingly enough, of course, it does have the Ukrainian flag and the blue wave flag, but it does have the American flag, which is a rare thing to see for some folks. Now, it's alleged, and again, he's a radical leftist. However, I do follow him because, again, I want to have more. Life gets a little bit boring for an echo chamber, and more perspectives, the better. Now, this alleged human says, "Speaker Johnson, you must truly take us for 100% fools. Your so-called SAFE Act is an utter waste of time, both to read and our tax dollars to write. Your nonsense only undermines confidence in our democratic process to disenfranchise eligible voters who think they may not be." How much did this guy write? Oh, he wrote like 12 paragraphs. I'll read the first one. Let's see here. This is just a fabricated issue, distracting from your problems. Congress has general problems to address. This Republican-led House obsesses over complicating voting for the underprivileged. Shall we? Which, geez Louise. Mostly mentally vacuous, but he did get 1.2 thousand likes for that. Let's see. Paul Zupa says the Senate will never approve this. You're a failed Speaker Johnson. Your only leverage was funding, and you gave Biden a blank check. Shame on you. You're part of the problem. Getting 6.4 thousand likes. Heather Faithful says, "Good. Now there's an act that banned all electronic mail-in voting, right? This is the greatest election. This is the greatest election nation on the planet. Should be leading in that regard, not failing." It has a picture showing France banned mail-in voting in 1975 due to fraud. Mexico banned mail-in voting in 1992 due to fraud. Belgium banned mail-in voting in 2018 due to fraud. Sweden does not permit mail-in voting. Italy does not permit mail-in voting. Ukraine does not permit mail-in voting. Well, they also don't permit voting at all since Zelensky is emperor for life. He literally said, we might have elections only if America pays for it. They also banned religion in Ukraine. But nevertheless, Russia does not permit mail-in voting. Japan does not permit mail-in voting. No Middle Eastern country permits mail-in voting. No Latin country permits mail-in voting. Got 320 likes. See here? Funky Town says, Speaker Johnson, in red states, illegals are allowed to get a driver's license, automatic ballot. Ballots win an election, not the number of votes. We need to fix the problem. Paper ballots, no voting machines. And then they have a picture that says, why isn't the GOP fighting to get rid of mail-in voting and electronic voting machines. That got 3.7 thousand likes. Let's see. Oh, this is hilariously sad but true. Zombo says doesn't matter if it won't get past the Senate, and it's a picture of a cat, and it's a little recycle sign where it goes around the circle. It says, I wake up, Democrats get caught doing some shady shit, and it says Republicans are outraged, nothing happens, and it repeats again and again. That got 3.4 thousand likes, which, I mean, Republicans, yeah, I don't know how many emails they send. They send a lot of angry letters. They do that much. George says, I'm not reading all that unless you plan to attach a law to the next spending bill. It's the only way to pass it. Getting 3.7 thousand likes. Zuby says, I had always assumed that only U.S. citizens could vote in U.S. elections. Weird that hasn't been the case. Getting 3.2 thousand likes. I don't type. Perhaps they have voice to text. That's an interesting name. They say, quote, how about they get arrested on the spot for coming to a voting place while being illegal? Getting 1.2 thousand likes, which, yeah, well, that'd probably be something to be smart to do. Woke Up says, now add that you have to be a U.S. citizen to be added to the census. Getting 1.3 thousand likes, which, yeah, you should. That is one of the biggest incentives for illegal immigration. Because, again, based on the census, your states will get extra House seats and get extra resource allocation. And I don't know who's mentally vacuous or morally vacuous enough to make it to the point where, oh yeah, anyone there is counted on census, thereby giving it a huge incentive for that. That did get 1.3 thousand likes. Let's see. C. Steele says, better hurry. Congress only has a couple more working days. I'm retired and work more than you guys. I got 1.2 thousand likes, which probably true. The bar's pretty low for how hard they're working in DC. Left and right, they seem to do very, very little, especially for helping, folks. Let's see. A lot of people a lot of people upset with this guy. Let's see. Detective 51 says, this is so basic. Only those who plan to cheat will object this. Getting 102 likes. Let's see. Denny Gree sends legal government issued ID, paper ballots, and pencil fixed, getting 601 likes. Let's see. Among the Wildflowers says talk is cheap, getting 299 likes. Barry Collins says absolutely nothing will come of this. More political theater from the do nothing GOP. But of course, you will have another $100 billion ready for Ukraine and not a single dollar for the southern border. Getting 443 likes, which, yeah, I never want to hear that excuse again in terms of we can't afford a southern border because it might cost $8 to $12 billion when we spent $150 to $200 billion for Ukraine. Yeah. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see if there's any contrarian comments here. Mr. Deplorable says, this bill should also ban universal mail-in ballots, ban drop boxes, ban ballot harvesting, getting 684 likes. Let's see. Any more contrarian statements? James R. says deporting illegals ensures they cannot vote in our elections, getting 96 likes. True. So, yeah, it's one of those things where a lot of people agree with them, but I don't think anyone actually believes Speaker Johnson or GOP will actually get anything done. Historically speaking, they really don't have the greatest track record in doing so. And yeah, that's going to be a big issue, and we're seeing more and more non-citizens getting, registrations to vote. So, even more distrust for the upcoming election. It will be interesting to see if people on the left or the right will really agree with the outcome. I just can't but think, yeah, the odds are probably not great. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.